Welcome back to the joint. I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about, and I know we're behind because this legend was born on June 28th. So as of this recording, it's Monday morning. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to this iconic, legendary icon of a man. And that is Mr. Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks turned 100 on June 28th. If you're not familiar with some of his work, let me just name a few things off. That is Young Frankenstein, Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles, which by the way is now considered the funniest movie like ever. That's what I've been told. It is one of the funniest movies ever. Uh, the producers, Mel Brooks is a comedic genius in my mind. And I think a lot of other people. Mel, and for him to turn 100, I think that is amazing. And we are getting a Spaceballs, the new one, in 2027, which he intends, the 100-year-old intends to appear in. I can't say enough about Mel Brooks's career. From teaming up with the late Gene Wilder, to making the solid Mel Brooks's humor will live on forever, I believe, in all of our hearts. And I don't want to make it sound like he's dead, because he's not. But he is an iconic genius. So I just wanted to open up this Monday intro a little bit with just saying thank you. And thank you for living on and still doing what you do, because if you haven't seen any of these movies, if you haven't, check them out. And maybe what we'll do is maybe that's what we should do next, is look at the iconic. That might take a long time. That might take a little bit too much. That might take more than a week to be able to do Mel Brooks's iconic career. But no, from musicals to movies to just entertainment in general, this is somebody that deserves to be honored. And congratulations, Mel, on making it to 100 years. But more of a congratulations. Thank you for giving us the laughs and the quick pro quo. I remember, I don't know what movie it was, and I gotta look at it, but it's like work, 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 work. How you doing? Hello, how you doing? And the girl has her, let's just say, her proverbial tits out, and the guy's just signing off on that. I have to figure out what movie that was. Yeah, I had to say that. I know we're behind on that, but I had to say that because I've been a part of musicals that he has done, and and I've sang so many of his songs, and it's amazing that he's still around with us. And definitely take a chance to look at his film of work, his body of work, because it is seriously iconic. But as we go along on this Monday, so good to meet you. Sorry, we can't play the actual song, because that would be a copyright issue. So you had to deal with me just doing that. But I do want to give a shout out to the moms and the the Papas, producer Lou Alder, vocalist being Dennis. I mean, I should probably stop saying people's names. That's probably what I should stop doing, because I always get them wrong, and then they say, well, you said that wrong. And I get that in the... Okay. But Monday, so good to see you. Good morning, everyone. And we have a lot to cover today, including the upcoming movies that will be going on July 10th. I do this myself. I run this myself. My name is Martin Sakon Novak, and I am happy to be here with you. Welcome to The Joint on this Monday. Welcome to The Joint Podcast, everyone. I am your humble host, Martin Sakon Novak. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming movies, because there's always going to be an upcoming movies every single week. Right now we have Minions and Monsters at 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, which a friend proposed to me. How does this make any sense? A friend said to me, if something is rotten, then why, like, the concept of the Rotten Tomatoes name, we could talk about this forever. But if you really think about it, I know they have the green tomato, which means it's rotten, and they have the red one, but a red tomato is not rotten. The synopsis says that Joe and Angel's marriage is on thin ice when they invite their anemic upstairs neighbor for a dinner party. The night spirals into unexpected places, having reignited the spark or lit the match that burns it all down. Have they reignited the spark or the burnt match that burns it all down? That's it. And from the trailer, we don't get much from the trailer at all. This is directed by Olivia Wilde. Stars Seth Rogen, Olivia Wilde, Penelope Cruz, which is a plus there, and of course Edward Norton. I don't know why I said of course, but I'm glad to see Edward Norton in most things. So, from what, once again, this trailer doesn't give me anything. They're saying on the tomato meter that it's a 95, and the popcorn meter is a 94. I, from the trailer, feel like there are going to be a lot of shortcomings that I'm going to be nitpicky about, because the humor seems a little dark, could be funny at times, or we could be just sitting watching people. I don't know. The running time is 1 hour and 47 minutes. Probably too long in my case from what I've seen of the trailer. I don't know the plot, and I don't care to know the plot, but probably could have been one of those 125s. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm just going to say it right now. I find not the greatest fan of Seth Rogen, so if he's going to be talking a lot in this movie, it's going to be quite a doozy for me to have to deal with. But the invite looks well enough that I'll definitely give it a Next we have the movie that I have not seen. I don't understand it. Once again, I'm a big fan, huge fan of musicals, but I am not a fan of Moana. But yeah, I know that I'm on the outside of this review. Everybody loves that song. I don't even know what what the lyrics are to that song. What is it? The sea behind me, and I know my girl. Just sounds like somebody whining all the fucking time. Jeez. I digress. Again. So we have Moana coming out, which of course, director Thomas Kail stars, Catherine Lagala, whatever, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, John Tuch. Probably said those names wrong. I'm probably butchering all these names. These live action films sometimes, sometimes you can just stop with the characters. But like I said, this is Disney jumping on the fact that Moana, the animated movie, was good, apparently. Once again, I did not see it. I try to watch as many movies as I can for you guys, so you don't have to watch them if they're bad, or if I think they're bad and you like this podcast, and if you disagree with me about this or disagree with me on something, then that's fine. But I try to watch them specifically because I enjoy watching movies, and I enjoy just breaking down the cinematography of why I think it's good or why I think it's bad. Now, with Moana, I'm not really intrigued to the story. Maybe that's not their target. I know that's not their target audience. I am not their target. At 38 years old, I mean, maybe there are some people that are, you've got the parents that are going for the kids, but I don't think a 38-year-old single male was the target for Moana. So, to each his own. I know it's going to be a hit because Disney's been pumping in. They have Toy Story. Now they got Moana coming out the next week. This was very well designed by Disney, also / Pixar. And I'm not going to see. I mean, it says it's more of a teen adventure, teen comedy, so it clearly is not geared. I'm not saying that The Rock isn't talented, but there is a thing that's called overexposure. It's like you give him a script and he just says, yeah, I'll do it, yeah, I'll do it, yeah, I'll do it, yeah, I'll do it for this much money, whether it makes a lot of money or whether it doesn't. And honestly, I was a big fan of The Rock. I was a big fan of Dwayne Johnson when he was I still am. When he was in the WWE. But it's been a little bit of overexposure, and there's been a lot of swing and a miss, so that's not going to get me to watch this either. But it will be out Friday, so I'm not going to go check it out. But if you were a fan of it, I'm sure it's going to break records. I'm sure it's going to be the movie of the weekend. Turn our attention away from the sweet Moana over to Evil Dead Burn. Rated R. 1 hour and 50 minutes. From the trailer, here's what I'm going to do. And I should do the ratings on the other one, so I'll catch back up with that at the end. This is a throwaway. To me, a decent premise behind it. They read from the book that basically allows the devil to take different forms. And basically cause chaos. That's what the trailer is telling us. Like I said, these are just first impression reviews. I have not watched it yet. Directed by Sebastian Van Cliff. I probably said that wrong too. I'm just gonna stop saying these names. Hunter Dooland, Lucane Buchanan and Sohila. Yeah, I'm gonna stop saying his name. But it basically seems like there's a lot of chaos that's going on after they read this book, and that there's just different forms. So it's blood, guts, gore. We'll see what the premise is behind this and how the premise goes. A lot of these movies, once again, I like to call a throwaway. So if you want to see people come back from the dead, or people have like different objects thrown at them and still they're living through them, or I guess this would be something you would go see. I'm not too impressed with it. Like I said, once again, it's during the summertime. I mean, for as bloody and as gory as it looks, it just seems like it's coming out at the wrong time. Maybe it'll be something that picks up later on. Right now, its popularity is 72 on IMDb. I'm not impressed with it. It will definitely be on the back burner for me. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a pre-judgment review. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I gotta tell you, this is a wild weekend for movies that are being released. And by wild, I mean it's not good. It's not good. Next up, we have Gail Doughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. Already a very bad title, I think. When her fiance uses their Celebrity Pass agreement, Midwest bride Gail Doughtry travels to Hollywood seeking revenge by pursuing her own celebrity encounter. So this is one of those, I cheated on you with a celebrity, so now you can get a celebrity pass you have to find your celebrity to cheat on me. Well, that's it. Don't have to review that. Don't even have to go and watch it. Nope. Can we come up with something? Director David Wynn, Ken Moreno, David Wan. I said I wasn't going to say these names anymore, so I'm just not going to. I can't even. After watching the trailer, it is such a basic concept. I'm not giving this anything. I am going to come in with a pre-review. My pre-judgment is 1.5. Don't need to talk about this anymore. 1.5 out of 10. Let's move on. And by the way, that's nothing against the cast. It's just the storyline is just not something that I would. Alright, moving along here now. We have Night Nurse. 1 hour and 35 minutes. This is actually something I am impressed with the trailer. I'm intrigued. Let's not say impressed. I'm intrigued by the trailer. And the synopsis says, a series of perverse scam calls unsettles a retirement community. A starry-eyed nurse becomes entangled with her mysterious patient. This is another movie that is also the writer and the director, Georgia Bernstein, I can say her name. She both directed and wrote it. All we know is this: he might have early onset Alzheimer's, and it's labeled as a thriller, which if you're not aware yet, I love thrillers, especially mysterious ones like this. I am very intrigued by this movie. And the popularity of this movie looks pretty good. IMDb is giving it a 6 out of 10. I'm going to go with, I will watch this. I certainly will go see this. I'm going to give it my pre-rating. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I'm gonna bump it up one more than IMDb. I'm gonna say 6.5 out of 10. Actually, you know what? In real time right now, I'm gonna give it a 5.5. So it's not bad. If it gets over a 5 in my mind, and I really don't know any of the cast, I'm giving the movie a little bit of a bump just because I'm intrigued by the story. But if it drags, and I have a feeling there's going to be a moment where I'm going to say it might drag, the rating could be lower. Now, I'm with this rating. I'm also giving it that because it is only 1 hour and 35 minutes, which I think is perfectly fine for something like this. Perfectly fine for something like this. So, yeah, my pre-rating on this one is going to be a 5.5. So, there's nowhere to go up from here. There's nowhere to go but up from here. Maybe you guys don't know that. Alright. As we roll along here, you have to ask yourself sometimes about the morals. I am a big fan of true crime. Because I would love to know what goes through people's heads. And that brings us to our documentary that's going to be released this week, and that is called Baby Doe. Baby Doe. As a young woman in a conservative Christian community, Gail gave birth alone and left her newborn in the woods. Decades later, she's arrested for murder despite her claim that the baby was stillborn. So, the way that the trailer depicts this is they already have 3 kids, Gail and her husband. The baby is the 3rd kid. The other kids are fine. But Gail, who has multiple crosses on her lawn and on her property, so she's very religious, felt like an abortion would be inhumane because she doesn't believe in abortion. But if you leave your baby in the woods, and because you know that's worse than an abortion. Honestly, you don't feel guilty about it. And I want to see that in this movie, and this is based on a true story. This did happen. I would like to know what's going through your head that says, okay, I can't have the abortion, but you're not going to give it up for adoption. And like I said, I understand adoption is not supposed to be, I was adopted. Let me personally say that. Adoption is not supposed to be like, well, I can have a baby and somebody will adopt it. No, you had 2 kids already. Why on the 3rd one did you think that it would be better off to leave a baby in the woods to die? Full baby to die in the woods. And she stands by it. According to the trailer, she stands by that she did the right thing. And I just have a hard time. These are the people I would love to just Well, first of all, I'd like to smack these people as hard as I can in the face. Because that's just disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. I'm sorry, but it's disgusting to do that. You are worse than... And forbear me to judge, but at the same time, come on. You think that's acceptable? And it seems like throughout this trailer, she is defending her decision. She knows exactly what she did and why she did it. And in that case, there needs to be justice. You can't just take matters into your own hands and do things like this. This is crazy. But it looks like a great documentary. It does have a 8.0 out of 10 on IMDb. I'm going to go with a prejudge rating on this. And I think just based on looking at the trailer right now, because I'm looking at these trailers right now, my prejudge rating on this. And remember, this is not a movie. This is a documentary. So I'm putting it in a different category a little bit. I'm going to put this at a 7.0. And the reason is I'm being cautious about this because I don't know what the full script is going to sound like. It's going to be how they... Because she admitted it. So it's going to be how the writing is... and how the scene sketches are, and how true towards the story is it. There's going to be factors that I can't even put into favor yet until I actually watch it. But this is something I would watch. I do believe that people should watch this, especially since it is a true story. And once again, it just delves into the crazy crimes that people think are okay. Now, Baby Doe looks very interesting to me. It looks very intriguing. The whole Christian community behind it, the religious right factor of it. But it is a documentary on something that really happened. It looks like it was shot well as documentaries go. So in the documentary category, I'm going to assume my prejudgment is that it will be a 7.5 out of 10. The last film that we have to review that I am so excited for is a foreign film, and it's called Crossings, at least in English. The Red Army is crossing the river 4 times, creating a basic example of warfare in history. And a legend, galore. Basically, this is the Japanese going against the United States. Crossings is the last movie that we're covering right now, and it is about a Japanese war, and is a guerrilla warfare type of movie. Once again, I'm not going to say the names of the directors because I just don't want to be disrespectful, but check it out. It comes out along with all these other movies. That's going to be the first thing I want to say. All right, everyone. Those are the pre-picks. I didn't do my pre-pick for warfare. My bad. For Crossings, it's called Crossings. For Crossings, I'm based on the trailer, I am gonna bet high on this one, and I'm gonna say 9.9. I'm gonna give a 9 out of 10. So with Crossings, I'm going to give a 9 out of a 10. That is my pre-rating. I have just seen based on the trailer. This is going to be the movie I think that wins for me this upcoming weekend. Because if you look at that trailer, I don't know how you can't get excited by that. you.